Good Wednesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside that weather window. And today, a lot like yesterday as we look down from our Union Valley Sky-Fi Tower camera up around the Chelan area. And you look at that beautiful blue sky and the beautiful blue waters of Lake Chelan. And it was a nice day today other than that pesky wind. And you can see the trees down at the bottom of the screen. They're blowing around pretty good, and we did see that throughout north central Washington today. But by tonight, the wind will shut down, and then we have got some hot weather to tell you about, especially for Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday, where we will see temperatures on Thursday in the mid-90s. We are talking upper 90s for Friday here in north central Washington. We'll stay hot on Sunday, and then we'll see a cool down as we get in partly to Sunday and into Monday. Your complete Labor Day weekend forecast coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. A Chelan resident who pleaded guilty to his third sex offense against children in 30 years was sentenced this week to more than 26 years in prison. Hunters and others going into the forest off Blewett Pass are being asked to report anything they see that might help in the search for the body of Ian Eccles, who was murdered last May in the Mineral Springs area. And for the fourth time, a Rock Island man charged with killing his wife wants a new lawyer. But first, we begin tonight. A motorist from Coulee Dam wrecked his truck and then allegedly spilled a loaded sawed-off shotgun from the vehicle. Douglas County deputies say 32-year-old Cody Jack Drywater was under the influence when his truck rolled last May on Pendell Road. They say they found the sawed-off shotgun in the grass near the overturned truck. Such modified firearms are illegal. Douglas County prosecutors charged Drywater by summons on Tuesday with illegal weapons possession and DUI. Well, a Chelan resident who pleaded guilty to his third sex offense against children in 30 years was sentenced this week to more than 26 years in prison. Timothy Wade Cook, who's 56, pleaded guilty in July to molesting 3 youths in 2002 and then again in 2017. He also pleaded to a charge of promoting commercial sexual abuse of a minor. Cook was previously convicted of first-degree child molestation in 1992. Judge Leslie Allen sentenced Cook on Monday to 318 months in prison. It's the highest end of the standard sentencing range for those crimes. Well, hunters and others going into the forest off Blewett Pass are being asked to report anything they see that might help in the search for the body of Ian Eccles, who was murdered last May in the Mineral Springs area. The 41-year-old Kent man is believed to have been killed by Jorge Alcantara Gonzalez, who was the subject of an extensive manhunt in the area before being arrested on June 14th. The Kittitas County Sheriff's Office is asking forest users to report abandoned tents, campsites, firearms, mountain bikes, fishing gear, and anything else that looks out of place. Well, the Rock Island man accused of shooting and killing his wife 2 years ago says the court should appoint him a new attorney, this time for the 5th time. 70-year-old Uli Tialilo allegedly murdered Peggy Tialilo in their Rock Island home back in 2018. He's been jailed ever since, awaiting trial in Douglas County, and his trial has been delayed in part by frequent disputes with his court-appointed lawyers. In letters to Judge Brian Huber, Tialilo says he can no longer communicate with his current attorney, who's the 4th person assigned to his defense. The defendant wants to be tried by a judge alone without a jury. No new hearings in the case are scheduled until October. Well, coming up next, Chelan County launched an emergency COVID-19 food distribution program on Tuesday that'll provide food staples to homes where people have been isolated or quarantined. A section of Wenatchee Heights Road will be closed for 2 weeks as the county continues a road improvement project. As is traditional, the State Department of Transportation is urging Washingtonians to allow extra drive time for their Labor Day travels. And an underpass for wildlife to navigate a busy Okanagan Valley Highway is already having an impact. We'll tell you about that. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Coming home should never be a chore. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Merry Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today. 509-663-1710.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Don't worry, all the fun is around the corner. There's no better time to get ready than now with Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa Sale. Stock Up and Save sale is now going on in-store and online at bluelagoonpoolandspa.com. Even pool heaters are on sale. Financing available upon approval. Credit 24-month, no interest with equal payments. Stop by today or order online at bluelagoonpoolandspa.com. Free water testing available in-store or curbside. Don't wait, the sale is going on now.
Welcome back. In another news, Chelan County launched an emergency COVID-19 food distribution program Tuesday that'll provide food staples to homes where people have been isolated or quarantined. The program will be run by Serve Wenatchee Valley. To be eligible, recipients must have a stay-home directive from a medical professional. The federally funded program will pay for food for 400 Chelan County families of 4 until January. Beyond Creations, the town Toyota Center's catering service will put together food boxes containing flour, rice, beans, bread, tortillas, pasta, and more. They'll also prepare care kits with items such as gloves, hand sanitizer, and soap. Well, a section of Wenatchee Heights Road will be closed for 2 weeks as the county continues a road improvement project. Beginning today, Wenatchee Heights Road is closed from milepost 1.12 to milepost 1.77 as a contractor builds a retaining wall that will allow the road to be widened at a hairpin corner. Traffic will be detoured onto Wheeler Road. That detour will also be in place on weekends and on evenings. Well, as is traditional, the State Department of Transportation is urging Washingtonians to allow extra drive time for their Labor Day travels. The agency says the best approach is to check its online traffic volume chart to help you determine the best times to travel on key routes. Traffic to popular outdoor areas has been heavy this summer due to the pandemic. The DOT says staying close to home and limiting non-essential travel will help reduce travel stress as well as slow the spread of COVID-19. Well, an underpass for wildlife to navigate a busy Okanagan Valley highway is already having an impact. Conservation Northwest, the nonprofit agency heading up the renovation of the Janus Bridge on Highway 97, that's between Omak and Tonasket, says it's finished the first phase of the Safe Passage 97 project, and animals have already started using that route. The initial work cost about $260,000 in private donations. The group is asking the state of Washington to fund phase 2 and 3. That would help animal-proof about 9 miles of road at an estimated cost of $17 million. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
Looking for a faster way to kickstart your business career? Look to the Charter College Associate Degree in Business Management, a convenient online program at an ABHES accredited institution. You could earn a degree in just 14 months, a degree that positions you for up to 18% higher earnings than a high school diploma. Plus, Charter will assist you in finding a job. Visit chartercollege.edu to get started, because we work to get you to work.
Pybus Public Market's motto is where community meets. Whether it's people, enjoying an event, or they meet a colleague for coffee and whip out their laptop and are able to actually do work here, having quick and reliable Wi-Fi is one of the things that makes Pybus such a great community hub. It just contributes to the welcoming place that we want Pybus to be. I'm Allie, and fiber keeps people connected, and that's what Pybus Market is all about.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's feature story, back in May, as the COVID-19 quarantine set in, Jessica Johnson from Sage started to see a rise in new domestic violence cases. Sage is the Wenatchee Valley's main resource for victims of domestic and sexual violence. On today's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Johnson told NCWLIFE's Dan Kuntz that the nature of cases referred to her agency appears to be changing for the worse.
Unfortunately, that's still true. I think one of the things that I wasn't really thinking about when we first talked in May, because it was still sort of new. I mean, we were hoping that by this point in time that it would be done, but it's not. Is that what we see as far as physical violence seems to be more. So we are getting more calls to the hospital. People are coming in more beat up, if that's even a correct term, but the violence is increasing. And I mean, I don't condone violence at all, but if you're with somebody 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that person is a perpetrator, it's gonna happen, unfortunately. So yes, we are seeing that. So we're doing a lot of POs, protection orders or restraining orders, and helping people get those signed, and then still supporting people at court too.
You talk about physicians and nurses in the emergency room. They have trained to look for certain signs when somebody comes into the emergency room. I broke my arm, or I accidentally burned my hand, or something like that. And they know some of the things to look at, right? That, hey, their story that they're telling me doesn't really match up with what I'm seeing.
Right. They are good at asking if people feel safe at home. One thing that I would encourage all of our health providers to do is that when you ask that question, make sure that you have the person with the injury alone and not with their significant other. Because likely if their significant other is in the room and that person is the perpetrator, they're not going to say anything, because if they do, it's only going to be worse once they go home. So that's why, that's a teachable moment. I also encourage people, friends, if they are suspicious or concerned, you want to make sure that that person that could be the perpetrator, and it could be a woman that's the perpetrator of violence. I mean, it doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter what socioeconomic status either. It can be, somebody who is rich or somebody who's middle class. It doesn't discriminate.
In these days of isolation, is one of the things maybe you should look at, is if you had a friend or you have a friend who you think may be susceptible to this, or you're a little concerned about their home situation, but you haven't really talked to them in such a long time because of the thing. Is that something that should be on somebody's radar?
I would say yes. I mean, it's always nice to hear from a friend, even if there's nothing wrong. So, making that call or reaching out over social media or anything like that is a good thing. And also, it shows that you are supporting them if they need that. I would also tell people just to be very kind and caring and not judgmental. Not that people would mean to be, but some of the questions that sometimes we get asked is, why do people stay? Well, they might not have any place else to go, which sounds silly, but really in this time of pandemic, they really don't have any place to go. I mean, our shelter is, we're not accepting people from out of the area because of COVID. So that's one of the things that is different for us too. So yeah, but just to talk to them, and maybe, reach out over social media or phone, however you do that, but just let them talk. They'll bring it up when they're comfortable and when it's safe for them to do it.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Of course, the all-important upcoming Labor Day weekend is upon us, and we'll talk a lot about that coming up. But first, let's head outside and head over to the beautiful Lake Chelan area. This is a shot from this afternoon from our Union Valley Sky-Fi Tower camera. Just beautiful, isn't it? That's what's called a lenticular cloud. A lenticular cloud, that's one that's been really stretched out by the wind and very thinned out from the wind, and we saw plenty of windy conditions today. You can just see the trees blowing a little bit, but the beautiful waters of Lake Chelan. It looks a little bit rough out there today. I don't know about today, but boating this weekend, I'm telling you, looks great. Let's get to our high temperature today unofficially in the Wenatchee area. We topped off at 91 degrees. 93 yesterday was our official high, so we've had a couple of warm ones now in a row. 81 is where we should be, so 10 degrees above that. How about that temperature this morning when you walked out the door? Unbelievable, right? 71 our overnight low, 57 is normal. Record high 100, that was set back in 1998. Record low 44 in 1960. Sunrise 6:22, and the sun will set tonight at 7:38. Let's take a peek now at how our Thursday will shape up, and not as windy. That's really good news for Thursday, but our temperatures are warming up just about all over the region. 93 for Moses Lake, Ephrata, and Quincy. 94 here in Wenatchee. Also up in Chelan, Entiat 93, Omak 94. Even Lake Wenatchee tomorrow, a warm one. High temperature there at 88. Let's take a look now at that surface loop, and not much is going to change over the next 5, 6, 7 days. Tonight, mostly clear skies. Even though our isobars aren't that tightly packed together, we are going to see a pretty strong northwesterly breeze tonight, and it will be mild with lows again in the mid to upper 60s. For Thursday, the heat is on. That's our first real warm day as we get into Thursday. I just showed you temperatures mainly in the lower to mid 90s all over central and eastern Washington and all the way down into the desert southwest. For Friday, sunny and hot. We could possibly see record highs on Friday. I've seen temperatures anywhere from 95 to about 102. I don't think we're going to get quite 100, but we're going to be awfully warm on Friday. Saturday, more of the same, so a great weekend for this long Labor Day. We'll see sunny skies and hot weather conditions once again, with high temperatures mainly in the mid to upper 90s around our viewing area. And then for Sunday, things begin to change just a little bit. You can see the isobars very tightly packed, and that means some windy conditions for us on Sunday. It will stay unseasonably hot with temperatures mainly in the lower 90s on Sunday, and then our temperatures are going to start moderating somewhat as we get into Labor Day. Lots of sunshine, not too bad for wind, still a pretty strong northwesterly flow, and temperatures much cooler. We are talking only into the 80s on Monday, maybe even some lower 80s in some areas. For Tuesday, sunshine and even a little bit cooler as our ridge of high pressure begins to get squeezed away from us, and that'll allow some cooler temperatures to move in from the northwest. Once again, temperatures generally in the upper 80s. Let's take a look now at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. A 7-day forecast, 64 the overnight low tonight. Sunny and hot for Thursday at 94. And here we go. 97 on Friday, 96 your high temperature on Saturday. So a beautiful weekend ahead if you have Monday off. Sunny and hot Sunday and 94. Nice for Monday too with 91 degrees expected. And then that cool down begins. I don't even know if we'll see 87 on Tuesday. It's going to be cooler. We'll see sunshine with low temperatures right around 60. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Badger Mountain Brewing is proud to announce the grand opening of our new kitchen. Come try out our new menu featuring fabulous steaks, prime rib, gourmet burgers, and seafood grilled up by experienced meat master Chef Galen Goodman. To complement your mouth-watering meal, Badger Mountain Brewing features 14 in-house crafted beers, an alcohol-free root beer infused with 11 different herbs and spices, 3 different ciders, and a great wine selection. Don't miss out on the best meats and the best brews down at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Located at 1 Orondo Avenue across the tracks from the Pybus Market.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue.
Currently, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is open for dine-in and take-out. Owner Justin Hefner and his staff are just as excited as you to get back to their regularly scheduled full menu, music, and poker. So stay tuned. Meanwhile, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is serving a limited menu for lunch and dinner, dine in or take out.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Wednesday to you. I've been thinking it's Tuesday all day today for whatever reason. I lost a day in there somewhere. Well, September is here, and we thought it was time for another update on what's happening with the Wenatchee Wild and General Manager Bliss Littler. The BCHL shut down for COVID last March just as the playoffs were set to begin. That was the last time there was ice in the Town Toyota Center. The Wild held a tryout camp in Las Vegas last month, and Littler says 25 players have been invited to Wenatchee. Now, it's just a matter of getting ice for them to play on.
Other than California and Washington, almost all states are open for hockey. USA Hockey has said hockey's returned, but the building we play in here, we don't have ice yet. So we're dealing with trying to get ice in here, and if not, a lot of people in town are traveling to Spokane, traveling to Seattle, traveling to Coeur d'Alene to get on the ice, but we're right now we're just trying to keep our kids, the 25, committed. We like the group we have. We're definitely hoping by the time they get here that we have ice and we're able to practice. The league sent out a press release about a month ago saying we expect to have a regular season to start the first weekend of December.
Littler says there's a lot of people frustrated with policies that prevent hockey when there are so many safeguards in place to protect participants.
The majority of ice users are under 20 years old. For hockey players, they wear equipment that none of their skin is accessible. They wear a face mask, and in the BCHL, we have a new face mask that covers the front of their mouth, their nose, and below, so that nothing when you're yelling for the puck, nothing's going to get out. The kids are wearing gloves. At that age, again, I'm general manager, been a hockey coach pretty much my whole adult life, and I'm not a doctor. So I guess I can't tell you that. I'm not a politician. But I do tell you that there are a lot of frustrated people that use the Town Toyota Center as their entertainment, their exercise, and having to drive over to Spokane or Seattle or Coeur d'Alene it's really frustrating. It's frustrating. It's disappointing. But hopefully that changes in the next couple of weeks.
Now, Littler says he and Town Toyota manager Mark Miller are doing what they can to convince people up the food chain that the safer alternative is to have ice available locally.
I got to believe that any doctor in the country would tell you it's more dangerous hopping in your car, driving down the road than it is for a person under 20 to be really impacted by COVID-19. So that's the frustrating part. Just seeing these, we have so many people that want to use the building. And, there's figure skaters that aren't using the building right now, and I just think that for the most part, people are pretty smart. That if you have high blood pressure, you have diabetes, you have pneumonia, that you're older, you're not going to go to an ice rink. You're not going to go to public places, and those people aren't the people that are hanging out over at Lowe's or going to Costco. They're people are going to be careful. So again, I just want to get ice back in here, and we're not even talking about how we're going to deal with with the Wenatchee Wild with fans, but we certainly hope we're going to get there, by the first part of the year, and we're able to have fans at our games. But I guess first things first, that Mark Miller, myself, I know we're doing what we can to get support and to get the building open.
We'll have more with Bliss Littler and an update on the Wenatchee Wild coming up tomorrow right here on the NCWLIFE channel. Well, student athletes of Washington are nearing their goal of 25,000 signatures on a petition to allow them to play fall sports. The group of mostly high school athletes want Governor Inslee and WIAA to reconsider a move to push fall sports to the spring. Cole Nora is a standout football player at Mount Si High School in Snoqualmie who started the petition because he and many others want to play football now, not in April. As of this afternoon, 24,802 people have signed that petition at change.org to try to sway the minds of administrators in Washington. In addition, the student athletes will rally on the Capitol steps in Olympia Thursday at 4 o'clock. Well, the Mariners' entire series against Oakland has been postponed due to concerns over the coronavirus. A player with the A's tested positive Saturday night for COVID-19, so Oakland's game Sunday against Houston, as well as their 3-game set with Seattle, have been pushed back. The first 2 games will be made up in a doubleheader September 14th that was supposed to be a day off for both clubs. Third game will be made up as a doubleheader in Oakland as part of the season finale. That'll be September 25th through the 27th. Well, Seahawks running back Chris Carson met with the media for the first time this season. He's been recovering from a fractured hip, dealing with deaths in his family. He said he is confident in his 4th year of being in the league that it will be productive and that he will always have something to prove.
I mean, just being a 7th round draft pick, and you always gonna have that chip on your shoulder. But I don't. At this point in the game, I don't really have nothing to prove. I feel like my game has spoke for itself for the last 3 years or whatever. As far as the fumbling, that was something that played a big part last year, something that, I worked on in the off season. But like I said, you got to have a quick mindset, let that go and just move on from it, learn from it, and just, like I said, move on from it. So it doesn't play too much of a factor for me this year.
Carson's in the final year of his rookie contract. So far, the Hawks haven't offered to work on an extension. Carson says he's focusing on football. Seattle just 11 days away from its opener at Atlanta. That's Sports Summer at Grandstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And finally tonight, with community events having been canceled one after another this year by the COVID-19 pandemic, there is one that will go on as scheduled. Cashmere Scare Crazy. Beginning October 1st, creatively decorated scarecrows will begin appearing throughout town. The Cashmere Chamber of Commerce says the event will allow people to enjoy the fall air and take in the scarecrows, while at the same time practicing safe social distancing. A scarecrow tour map will be available at the Chamber office. Like a lot of communities, Cashmere saw the loss of many of its biggest events this year, including the Founders Days and the Chelan County Fair. Well, that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellingson here from Live It Up. Join us every week as we answer your questions on health, wealth, and relationships.
We're all about you creating a life that you love, so tune in to Live It Up.
This is Caitlin Hedershe, the producer of the NCWLIFE magazine. Each week, I'm bringing you a look behind the scenes of the faces, places, and events that make North Central Washington the place we call home. Tune in every weekday for an in-depth look at a new topic each week. From local artists in their studios to businesses breaking barriers that might surprise you and everything in between. Join me on the NCW Life magazine right here on the NCW Life channel.